like we just came back from a family trip and yeah, I gained a little, but I know I'm going to. That's
Right.
just part of it. But the key is getting right back on it.
Well, welcome to Insights with Marsha. I have a very dear friend with us today, Sallie Baker. And I really wanted Sallie to be here today for a certain reason, lots of reasons, but one in particular is I've talked to so many people lately, Sallie, and they have lost significant weight on the weight loss medications. And they're like at their goal weight and they're scared to death of what they're going to do next. And you have reached your goal weight. You have lost 34 pounds. You've kept it off for 2.5 years, and you did it without a medication. You did it when medications really weren't popular. So whatever you're doing now is what the people that hopefully are listening to this podcast today need to do. And you did it. You took Naturally Slim, now Wondr Health. I helped you with that, and you took the program. And I just knew that you were one of those kind of people. You took in everything, you understood it, and by golly, you've been practicing it for 2.5 years. So you now act the way the people that are getting off the drugs need to act. But a lot of people on the medications, all they did was get the medication, and they didn't learn how to change themselves. And so I want to talk about you today and all your mini epiphanies because you have a lot of them. I've been learning things from you. But first off, how would you explain to people the concept of Naturally Slim that's now Wondr Health? When people go, what is it? Or how would you explain if I said, what is Naturally Slim? What would you say?
Well, I would not call it a diet, first of all. It's a new way of eating, a new lifestyle change, and it's not just to lose weight, but to change the way you feel about food, the way your relationship is with food, for the rest of your life. It really is.
I like that.
Maintenance is the hardest part of any program, I've learned.
Yeah.
After being on so many.
Yes. And I want to address that in a little bit, your history. And, I like to say diets change the food. You'll hear somebody going, I'm going on the high protein diet. I'm going on the low carb diet. I'm going on the diet where you just eat vegetables. So the food keeps changing, but it's still Sallie. It's still Marsha. And so when you've lost all the weight, all your favorite restaurants are back in your life and the menu there. And since we never changed, we're going to put the weight right back on. So part of my definition, and you nailed it for me, is we change us. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of eating for the rest of your life. So when you first started Naturally Slim, what stood out to you the most, or what was some aha moments about the concepts?
Well, when you said you can eat your favorites and actually eat your favorite first, I thought, I don't know if I believe this. I was a little skeptical, but it was changing your mind to thinking, okay, I'm going to do, and I did that. I thought, I'm going to do what she said and see how it goes, and the weight started coming off.
Well, when you said you eat your favorite food first now, you were talking to me either about a daughter-in-law or a friend who is definitely the kind of person that's never had a weight problem. Do you see her do that too? Like,
yes.
She won't eat it if it's not good.
Yes. Yeah. She doesn't snack a lot, and she loves good food and loves to eat a lot. I will say I'm a good cook, and people love to eat, and I love to cook for them. But she loves to eat good food, but she will just not look at things that don't mean a lot to her. She just only wants good things. So I thought that's why she's so thin. And she'll eat a lot, but then she stops,
Mm-hmm.
because of that.
That reminds me once, Well, what I've noticed about thin people that have never had a weight problem is they wouldn't dare eat anything they don't like.
No.
And we as dieters, if it was on the list,
We
we
did.
ate it. And it was forever ago. My grandmother had never dieted, and she decided she needed to go on a diet. And she came to my mama's house, and she said, "Sandra, I need help with this diet." And she's like, "Well, what is it, Mother?" This is when Mom was still a dieter, and she hadn't observed thin people and created the Naturally Slim program. And she goes, "What? It says I have to eat such and such and such and such for breakfast." And she goes, I don't eat breakfast. And I don't like these foods that were on there. And it's like years later, once Mother kind of started studying thin people and we really started understanding them, I went, she was really one of those thin people that every now and then they just get a little off track. They've traveled or something and they gain a little weight. And so she figured she'd go on a diet. And that's the only thing she knew. And it was just like, I don't know how to diet. She almost didn't know how to diet.
I think that's why some diets don't work, because you're so restricted on certain things that you don't particularly like.
Yes.
And you'll do it to lose the weight, but you can't maintain that because it's not your choice. That's not something you would pick to eat.
Yeah.
But when you can know that you can maintain and lose eating the things that you really like, well, that made such a difference with me.
Yeah. 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 So I've observed through the decades I have taught the class, when I taught live classes, week 1 is how to know when you're hungry, because you were talking about that. And I taught them all how to know when they were hungry. And then they would come back, and 3 or 4 weeks later, I'd say, give me a show of hands if week 1 you knew when you were hungry. And there's almost no hand at all. Because that first week is like figuring out when you're hungry. So how was it for you to figure out when you were hungry?
Well, before I had been on another diet that taught that. So I was kind of used to that, and I knew myself I could make it till noon without getting real hungry, as long as I had a cup of coffee in the morning. And because I usually would exercise in the morning, go walk, and I never wanted to eat before I did that.
Yeah.
So that was a habit I kind of already had. So that part was not, but once I was hungry and then I ate a meal that I really wanted, that made a huge difference, because you enjoy it so much more when you're really, truly hungry.
Yeah.
And then you're satisfied. That's the other thing, because you ate something that you really wanted and you became satisfied, and then you could go several more hours after that and not eat.
Yeah. Because I've eaten a diet meal before.
Oh, and you're still hungry.
Yeah, you're just munching on everything because you didn't.
That's not what you wanted.
Not what you wanted. Right. Yeah, it's a terrible feeling. You're like, oh, I'll just eat a chip, or I'll just eat a.
Yeah. Whereas if you thought, I'd love a hamburger.
Yes.
I'd love a hamburger. I'm hungry for a hamburger. Well, get one. You taught me that.
Yeah.
Get one.
Yeah.
And, and then you're satisfied.
Yeah. It's amazing down here in the South because, I had people like y'all, like you, fill out a food diary every day of the week. So when you came back, if you hadn't lost weight, I could look at it and know why. And the first several weeks, I see lots of hamburgers. And down here in the South, tons of Mexican food.
Yeah.
Some people will go eat Mexican food 3 times that week, but they'd still lose weight because they learn to eat it like a thin person eats it. So yeah, you can get the hamburger. I love that. And you were, so when do you, now that you've got all the concepts ingrained, when do you get hungry? When are you hungry for your first meal?
At noon.
At noon?
Noon to 1.
Yeah.
And if I can go longer, I will. But if I know I'm going to be tied up, like from then till 2 or 3 o'clock, I'll eat something little, maybe at 11, just to tide me over. I didn't do the health, what were they called? Hunger savers. I didn't do that as much because I'm a snacker and I was afraid it would trigger me.
Oh, yeah.
I did better if I waited for my big meals. I remember seeing on one of your graphs that that first level of hunger, if you'll wait one more hour, then that's when the fat burning starts. And that somehow that stuck with me. So I always see that little clock going around showing that wait one more hour, 30 more minutes if you can, and then eat.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it so much more when you're truly hungry.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because you were a home economics major, and I want to talk about that in a little bit, but we both, I think about this kind of thing that, like, we get up, and it was really the cereal companies that started this start every day with breakfast because they wanted to sell the cereal. And I was just at a friend's house, Wes and Mary, yesterday, and he grew up a farmer, and they have a big garden and all. But anyhow, I've interviewed him as a farmer, like, when did y'all get up in the morning? When did you eat breakfast? And so many other farmers. And they are working the farm 2 or 3 hours of hard labor before they ever ate. And we do nothing more than roll out of bed and figure we need to work. I mean, eat. We do need to work and then go eat. So, yeah, that sounds interesting. That sounds like I'm very familiar with
And that was something I taught. I mean, I always had to teach children, you eat a healthy breakfast. And so that was really against what I'd ever known and grew up doing, but it made a big difference.
Yeah. I grew up in the Clean Your Plate Club. And I've known this information since I was 20 years old. And I still, every day, want to clean my plate. So I eat off of smaller plates. I start off with a smaller amount. I know I can go get more food if I want. Sometimes I'll just leave it on the stove warming, so it's or I'll throw it in the microwave. So what did it feel like to you to leave food on your plate, or do you have a clean your plate message in your brain?
I still have a clean your plate, but I have learned to just put what I know I can have. I do a lot of bowls.
Oh, I like bowls too.
That's something
it's like,
I always
this is it.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it.
And I kind of know my amounts. And so I eat it. I eat it all. But I don't go back. I don't ever go back. I don't refill. I don't think, I'm still hungry. I just don't.
Yeah. Do you ever, sometimes during a meal, I'll think about the size of my stomach.
Yes.
It's a loosely held fist. Yes. And I'll look at the plate and go, let me get the bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you get used to it, you will feel that when you've hit the fullness, and if you can stop right then. And I have to sometimes I think you are eating way past fullness. You need to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody will reach that.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yes. That's so good. I was reading an article the other day, because being a nurse practitioner, I still get a lot of medical stuff, about the blue zones where the healthiest people are. And one of the things about the Okinawan people is they say they eat until they're 80% full. And if you eat until you're 80% full, 10 or 15 minutes later, you feel 100% full.
Right.
So that's neat that you're into that one, because it's so true. Just like stop. And the worst thing that can happen, you're going to get hungry sooner if you didn't eat enough, and you get to eat again. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let me think what else I want to ask you. Oh, what are some of your favorite foods?
I love food. I'm a good cook. I came from a line of good cooks, so I enjoy feeding other people too. So I like lots of foods.
Okay.
My favorite things are salmon and chicken, and I do like salads. I know that's not your thing, but I love salads.
No, that's okay.
I love salads and vegetables, and I'll make a lot of rice bowls or quinoa. I combine grains and protein. And I do like desserts, but I can leave them,
Have you found your desserts getting smaller?
Much smaller. Much smaller. I think we eat less the older we get, but I've noticed a bite or two to share with somebody else is plenty.
Yeah.
You don't really need a piece of your own.
Yeah. No. And you really, lots of times, don't taste it.
No.
Past
you just want a bite or two. Just that. And I've learned when it's not good, then just stop.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that aren't that good.
And I really are.
I would eat them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to do that. There's so many restaurants nowadays that I leave disappointed.
Yeah.
It's like, it was okay.
Yeah. And
And
I'm a big dessert maker, and I thought if it's not as good as mine, then I don't think I need it.
my husband makes a really good steak. So there's a lot of good steakhouses we both know in Dallas, Texas. They don't get any of my money
Right.
because I want his steak. It's so good.
It's funny that you say that. We don't eat out that much,
Mhm.
and usually when the kids are there, we do. But I find myself, if I'm running errands or out for the day, I would rather come home. I time everything because I would rather come home and eat what I fixed for me than to grab fast food or run in somewhere just to get,
Yeah,
something convenient. I'd
yeah.
rather wait and eat what I have at home.
Eat what you know
'Cause
you'll enjoy.
Because I enjoy it so much. I really do.
That's really cool. That's
And I do that a lot.
Yeah. Because these days okay, so you being the home ec major, I don't know, you tell me what you see of other people's diets these days. I mean, before I put my 2 cents in, how do you see other people eating?
Well, they eat very fast.
Yeah.
Um, they will order something as an appetizer and eat all that first, and then they have this big meal coming. I'm like, I think of the stomach. How can you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they'll have a real heavy drink to start with before their meal, and I think, okay, you just used, and we don't count calories,
Right.
but you just used that
A
would
lot of
fill
a
me
lot of
up a
yeah,
lot of volume
a lot of volume.
in before you ate.
Yeah.
Um,
And what do you notice about quality of food? Like,
quality.
well, I'll give you I'll get what I'm getting at. The food people are eating just it's not that good.
It's not that good.
It's not that
Yeah,
good,
I agree.
In fact, I had Dr. Scott on here, Tara Lynn Scott Winfield on here, and she was talking about, I don't know if she said it on the podcast, one of her patients, she does a lot of obesity work, that he was a single man. I think he might have been a widower, and he ate every meal fast food.
Oh,
He had all these apps on his phone for all the fast food places. And while he was in the office, and she's working with him around this, she got him to delete all the apps. And he started cooking at home and instantly lost a ton of weight.
mhm.
And I thought about that, and I thought, gosh, if people could almost just make it a rule to, if they're hungry 2 times a day for 2 meals, just make one of them a meal
Yeah.
you made, even if you're making a sandwich to take to work.
Mhm.
So I just see so many people eating out, and they're not doing what you did. Like you said, you like to cook it because you can be in control of the quality. Then I'll just be like,
I think they don't realize the extra added things that are there, not only processed, but, you don't know how it was fixed. Is it in butter? Is it in, which all that's fine, but it just adds up.
it adds up. I think people need to look at ingredients. There was at one of the big wholesale clubs, what was it? Like some kind of beef something. It's been so long ago, and I looked at it, and they had stuck it was like barbecue beef something. They had stuck so much sugar and so much fat in it because that's what makes it taste
That's
better.
good.
Salt is okay. It was okay on salt, but the fat, salt, and sugar is what they usually mess with. I was like, there's no way you would go grill brisket. I think it could have been like brisket on your own grill and even put some barbecue sauce on it. It's like they must have tried
Right. To
to
add
get everything in it that they got in it. Yeah, so that's why I'm jealous of you because I am not a good cook. It's like I'm from Louisiana. My brother can make the best gumbo and jambalaya. I have never really made a gumbo I think's good, and I have tried so many times. I know. So I didn't get the gene, so I'm so jealous because I think that's what people need to do, is at least do 1 meal a day at minimum and more if you can. So I know you are good at, meals at home, so you come in from that day, and let's say you don't even have time to cook one, you kinda have ideas. So give us some ideas for the people like Marsha, and pretend like I like salads. Because
Okay.
most people do. Give us some ideas of how we can manage to eat at least 1 meal a day at home.
Well, when I was on Naturally Slim, um, I love salads. I just do, but I hate chopping and all the stuff that goes with it. And I thought, how can I remedy this? So I kind of looked up how these pretty salad bars do theirs.
Yeah.
And I started doing that. They soak it in water and they keep it cut up and that ice water, and that keeps it cold and crisp. And then you drain it. It's quite a process, but I do that first thing now every time I go to the store with romaine or leafy lettuce, and I keep it in the refrigerator and it stays.
Wow. You wash it that way, but you don't keep it in the refrigerator in water.
No, not in water.
Okay.
It's all drained. It's all, I use a salad spinner and go through all that. But it's all dry and chopped up, ready to go. And you would think chopped that it would turn brown. It doesn't. I don't know why, but it doesn't. But I keep a big container of that. I always have chicken breasts cut up ready to, I don't cook them ahead of time. Sometimes I do on the grill, but I always make sure I have a protein that I can grab immediately, because if you're starving, you'll open the pantry and eat chips or crackers or something like that first. Mm-hmm. I do eat fruit, but I eat it with my meal.
Good.
So I always have strawberries, some kind of a berry, either blueberries or strawberries to go with that. And I put that in my salads a lot. But it's just the point. And when I was really unnaturally slim before, I would almost panic when I got low, when the products got low at home. And I think, I've got to go get protein. I'll buy a rotisserie chicken. That's another.
What kind of chicken?
A rotisserie chicken.
Oh, yeah.
You can get those anywhere. And they're done.
Stores,
and take all the meat off. And always having that is great, because you can make a meal out of that and a vegetable, and you're good.
You're good. Because I was about to ask you, how do you cook the chicken? That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other things that, like what I have learned, so from childhood, I loved chili. And we had one of the first microwave ovens in Shreveport, Louisiana. And my mom would cook a pot of chili, and we'd freeze these like little 1-cup servings. And I'd literally come home from school and eat chili. Sometimes back then we ate breakfast. I'd eat chili for breakfast.
But chili's good.
Yeah.
Chili is a great protein. I mean, it is. It's tomatoes and meat.
And I put beans in mine.
And beans. See, that's all three good. I make that a lot in the winter.
Okay.
I make a lot of soups. We like soups and chili and that time. And I usually have at least a pound of taco meat, always cooked.
Oh,
that's another thing. Or ground beef, just plain, like for taco salad, or put it in a wrap. Put it just in a tortilla. I mean, just to have it. I learned cottage cheese became real big in the last year or two. You've heard that?
No.
Really? It's big, and my grandchildren love it, so I always have it.
Wow.
And
what do you put in there?
Well, you put like sweet potatoes, and then you put a layer of cottage cheese, and then taco meat on the top. It is delicious. It is all protein.
Yeah.
And it is filling, and it's almost like a lasagna or a taco with the creamy part. But it's all protein.
Oh, if it made it creamy,
delicious.
I love anything.
And I taught my daughter-in-law that, and that's one of her favorite things now. And she's real skinny.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I've never been a big cottage cheese. When you put the meat on it, does it kind of like make the cottage cheese melt or anything?
Well, kind of, but it's really good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, I'll freeze chili. Since I'm not a good cook, my daughter's friend, Dana, had made a shredded chicken. We were all down at the lake, shredded chicken with some kind of barbecue sauce on it. And there was a ton left. And I put it in baggies and put it in ones, each was a serving. Mm-hmm. And I'll pull that out and have something like that for lunch. So even though, if there's any of y'all out there that are like me and you don't cook, find a casserole or something. Even some of the big box stores have good casseroles and all. Like there's a good enchilada casserole at one of ours. And I'll just make them into serving sizes and stick them in the freezer for when I'm hungry.
If you're ever out, Wendy's chili is pretty clean.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's good.
That's good to know.
Yes. I read that on TikTok or somewhere. I mean, there's some people that will tell you little tips about eating out, but Wendy's is a pretty, and it's not a big serving, but it's very filling.
Okay.
And it's a pretty good.
Since I'm a chili lover, that's a good tip I learned today.
But I do the same thing. I'll if we've eaten it all, then I'll freeze it in individual containers, and it's so good. There's something about hot too that makes it kind of filling.
Mm-hmm. And you touched on something. So since this is right up your alley, I have said for decades, I don't think people get enough protein.
Yeah.
So what do you think about
I think
protein?
that was key.
Yeah.
You kind of taught me that when we were doing Naturally Slim. It is because it fills you up, but it also helps in your weight loss.
Yes.
I mean, it tends to burn the fat. You can't just be losing weight. And I think that's why other diets, you would eat diet things and all these vegetables and eat an apple and eat this. Well, when you didn't have enough protein, it's not going to burn fat in your body. It's not going to get, you have to look at it as a fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always fuel. And you've got to have some protein to fuel you. And when I hear people, they're like, I'm just not losing. I'm like, you need more protein, you know?
Totally. And some programs are even saying if you're losing weight, concentrate on a gram of protein per pound you are.
And it looks like a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. So I have found a protein drink or two that I really enjoy to help me get my protein. But there are some people, and I'll look at what they're eating, and I'll think, you're maybe getting 30 grams a day, maybe, if you're lucky. And, protein helps us keep muscle mass. And a friend of mine, husband, is a normal thin person. He's always been thin, but he got one of the things to be able to measure his blood sugar. And the other morning, he had just a carbohydrate. Blood sugar goes way up.
Yeah.
Then he ate a protein, went right back down. So it's kind of like what we've talked about in Naturally Slim. Carbohydrates, sugar goes immediately into your bloodstream. So that's why they gave it a glycemic index. You remember the glycemic index? They'll say a potato is, the glycemic index is, whoo, like this. Don't eat potatoes. I'm like, no. I know. Didn't that drive me nuts when they do that?
Yes.
If you eat the steak, bite of steak with the potato, now the steak brings that glycemic index back down. And so you're not only, because the body cannot really store protein.
Right.
And if you don't eat enough of it and you're in a weight loss mode, I don't have any muscle to lose personally.
Right.
Yeah. So you agree with me about protein.
Yes.
Dan.
And I can tell the next day how I feel if I haven't had enough protein. It just, you feel a little depleted.
Yeah.
But if you eat plenty during the week, and I always have a weight loss, or I always maintain well when I've had a lot of protein.
So you just said something good that just made me think of something. You said, I maintain well. So as far as the scales go, how often do you look at the scales for maintaining for you?
Well, I used to be an everyday 2 or 3 times a day on the scales.
I understand. I do.
But I've made myself weigh once a month for accountability at somebody at Weight Watchers.
Uh-huh.
I'm a lifetime member of Weight Watchers. I don't follow that program anymore, but to maintain my membership, I have to weigh in once a month, which I think is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do that once a month, and I can weigh anytime during the month, but when I know that's coming up, I'll weigh to see where I am. And sometimes I have a pound or two to lose, and then I really stick to, go back to basics and until I'm down where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
What was your question?
No, that was it. How often do you look at the scales?
But if I'm really losing, like we just came back from a family trip, and I gained a little, but I know I'm going to. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
But the key is getting right back on it when you get home.
Right
is
back
to not
the principles.
The principles, to not think, oh, I blew it, so I'm just going to eat what I want to. And really, once you've been on it this long, your body is kind of craving that reset to go back to the good things. But I weigh every day till I kind of get it back down just to see. And it's funny, it drops. It drops every day if you're, and you'll get back to your set point.
From being on vacation. Yeah. But if you wait too long.
It just continues to go up.
Yeah. You got to get right back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that, I think, was key for me. I'm a great loser. I've always been successful I've lost the same 20 pounds probably 100 times in a lifetime. And I know I'm going to succeed, but it's maintaining that's been the key for this.
So tell us about your weight loss journey through the years, like the things that seem to work better, work less, how Weight Watchers work for you. I'm just curious of a typical life in the day of a dieter.
I started after my freshman year going off to school, and, you gain the extra weight. And Weight Watchers was kind of new back then. This was in early 71. And my mother was on it, and, it was kind of a new thing. So we did, and I got it off and then maintained. I mean, I would go back to Weight Watchers every time I had a baby or trying to get weight off. But it just became I didn't love the food. It was very restrictive in the beginning. It's less so now. But the difference I see in Naturally Slim and Weight Watchers or my dad was a doctor, and so he constantly had diet patients, and I even did the drink. All you did was drink this stuff.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I did that in college.
It was terrible.
Mine was an orange.
Yeah, it was
stuff.
Goopy. It was just awful.
Yes,
and not
I even did acupuncture.
Oh, I did too.
You got staples in your ears, and you got them charged every couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. I had some.
I did it all.
And it's funny because when I started this, and it became evident to people, they thought that I was on the shots.
Really?
They did. They were like, well, you must be, on the shot. And I was like, no. And it's kind of hurtful.
Yeah, because you're thinking,
you think, I worked really hard for this.
Yeah.
But I said, no, it's not, I didn't do that.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So when they asked you, what are you doing? What did you do?
Well, they wanted to hear something magical.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And a lot most of the time I'd say, I'll tell you later. And I could tell if they were serious, whether they'd call me back. And I'd kind of go through the principles with them. But once you say, well, they'd be like, tell me what you eat. And I was like, well, I eat whatever I want. And I usually only eat when I'm hungry. And they just kind of look, their eyes glaze over because they're like, oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. But when you say I ate my favorite foods, but you stop when you're full, and, it doesn't click. They want something magical. They want something.
Right.
But I said, it's just a lifestyle change. It's what you have to, it's not a diet. It's not going to come off real fast.
And when you say it's a lifestyle change, were you a walker before?
Yes, I was.
Oh, okay. So that's a great lifestyle thing right there.
Yes, I was always a walker. And I wasn't terribly overweight. It was just I just never could get past a certain point. I would get to a weight, and then I'd think, okay, I'm there. I'd get to my Weight Watcher goal, I guess I would say, and get to that goal, and then I would just go back to the same habits I had before. Well, it's not gonna. And one of the things that Naturally Slim said, you have to continue to do what you did to lose weight to maintain it. You can always. There are days you can do something different. You can't stay on it continuously. You're gonna go out with friends. You're gonna have a drink. You're gonna have a birthday. You're gonna have company.
You're gonna overeat.
You're gonna overeat basically. But it has to become a lifestyle that you go back to, and that's where I am, and that's what is something that's so different than what I used to know. It becomes a feeling that you just feel so much better when you're
working with your body,
right? When you're working with your body,
when it wants to eat and when it wants to stop. That's what I kind of say. That your body's like, thank you,
yes,
thank you. You're not overstuffing me.
Yes,
yeah. I was thinking about it the other day, and so I, whenever I gave presentations, I'd give a lot of weight loss stats, and there was even a period of time, a couple of decades ago, or really less, that we started eating 700 more calories a day. I mean, a day than we used to during a period of time, and 100 extra calories a day, you'll gain 10 pounds a year. So 700 extra calories a day from one decade to the next, we should all put on 70 pounds a year, right?
Ooh.
So we should all have blown up at some point, but we didn't because we've got that set point in our body and our body saying, did you see what she ate today? Oh my gosh, we can't let her blow up. And I say those people, their metabolism actually starts working faster to take care of all this stuff we're eating. Now, gradually people do get heavier and heavier, but we'd all be thousands of pounds
Right.
if 100 calories, 3,500 calories really did equal a pound. We'd all be a lot heavier. Right. So when I say our body kind of goes, oh, thank you, it's like going, I can have a normal metabolism today. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be like, did you see what she ate? She ate half the turkey and all the dressing and the... So, yeah, it's hard to explain to people, but it's such a good feeling to not... And then once you overeat a meal or two, you're
kind of miserable.
Like, that wasn't fun.
Yeah.
That really wasn't fun.
And after a certain point, you're really not tasting it. It doesn't taste good. A bite or two, you just think to say, I'm not going to take a bite of cake. Well, you're going to think about it for days thinking, I wish I could have that. But go ahead and take a bite. But it's usually a bite or two, and then you're fine.
Yes.
You're satisfied.
Yes.
With that.
So true. So true. So true. So any other crazy reactions from family and friends?
Oh, not really. It's
you would come to class going.
Yeah. Well, it took a long time for people to recognize it, when you think you're working so hard. But it was, I think I told you, it was that last 10 or 15 pounds that all of a sudden people were like, oh my goodness, what did you do? Oh my gosh, what did you do? And that's when they thought, you're on the shots.
Well, and I can't believe they really said it.
Yeah. Oh no, they always said it. Because now you see people and that's what you think because it's become so popular. But I know so many that have already gone back. They tried it.
See, that just hurts.
Yeah, I know. And it's a lot of money and a lot of time.
And a lot of time. And a lot of going through. I have had several friends that
and we
feel
don't really know what it's going to do to your body.
Yeah. 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 So when you said you got to your goal weight, but then you really lost more. So how much more was it? Beyond
about
what
15
you thought was
more
good?
pounds.
15
more pounds. And it's funny because I've kept my Weight Watcher goal weight on my records, and they ask me every time, "Don't you want to lower it? You're way below your you're way below your weight." At first, they were concerned, and I said, "I'm fine. I promise you." And I know that's in their algorithm to know to watch people, but they want to know if I want to change it now. And I said, "No, I don't want to change it. I like being." Below,
I like being an overachiever.
Right. I am an overachiever.
So travel, I know if travel's even, still to this day, hard for me, and I'll have to really try to plan. So how is travel? Because I know you were talking about you get right home and get back on the principles, but do you have any tips for travel? Like I always bring peanut butter crackers with me because I don't know when I'm going to get to eat. That would be one of my things. I try to have some orange juice available because I like a splash of orange juice in my water. Is there anything, I hope I didn't just take your two ideas, anything that you think when you travel that you go, I'm going to be ready with this or that?
I usually keep a protein bar, even though they're high caloric, but it's 20 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And then I've noticed I can have that. And then I'm not hungry. I'm really not hungry. If there's a situation where I think I'm not going to be able to have a meal on time, I always have that. But I just look at the menu and occasionally it'll click in your mind thinking, oh, I'd love that. But then you're like, do I really want that? Like a chicken fried steak or something. I think, no, I'd rather. It's pretty easy now in most places to make good choices with protein.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Most places are pretty careful about that. Mm-hmm. They'll have things grilled. And so that's really not hard. It's more when you go to people's homes or when you're having company yourself and you have lots of snacks and lots of desserts and sitting around that you just have to be careful with.
Mm-hmm. Are you very much of an emotional eater?
I used to be, and I can be. I think I could go to that if I was not more conscious. Yes, I would say I used to say I'd eat when I'm happy, and I'd eat when I'm sad. So I just kind of ate.
Oh, that's good. That's
but
good.
I'll catch myself more
Yeah.
when I'm thinking, are you stressed? Yes, go walk. That's when I usually think, go take a walk, or go get a big drink of water. Do something.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's and a lot of times you're thirsty. You're really not hungry. I found myself a lot doing that. I'll think, when's the last time you took a sip of water?
And I'm so glad you said walking again, because I really always noticed my walkers lost weight so much better than my non-walkers. And I think our sedentary lifestyle, I had a stat a long time ago how many people had to walk or take public transit, that kind of thing, to get to work versus today, and a lot of us, all we do is get out of the bed, walk 10 feet to a shower, we blow dry our hair sitting down, us women put on our makeup sitting down, and people just do not move anymore.
No.
And my kids were in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago, and they would send pictures, and they'd be like, "Mom, I've never seen so many bikes in all my life." And my son-in-law, Drew, said this lady whizzed by him going 25 miles per hour, said on the front of the bike there was this thing with her 2 kids. And he's like, I don't know what kind of gear system they have on those bikes, but she was pedaling going. So it's just a part of their life, So people really need to make it a part of their life.
I have several friends that can't and don't get out and do walking. And I'm just determined to, that's something you can do. You can, there's aging, a lot of things happen to your body, but I was like, stay on your feet and go walk every day. There's something about getting outside too, out in the sunshine or whatever, and just walking. Doesn't have to be a lot every day.
No.
I do morning and night, because I found that instead of doing a really long walk all at once, I like both times. And I've always been a walker, and so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
But it's a good release too.
It is.
If you're feeling stressed or emotional, something,
breathe.
Just go out, go walk around the block. I even had a doctor tell me that one time when I was going through some, after my mother had died. He said, go pick up your walking again. Go get out every day, even if it's 15 minutes.
That's good. I mean, you just nailed it there. I'll tell people, look, if you just even have 10 minutes,
right?
Get up from your desk, go walk the halls of the building, go walk around the building. Just 10 minutes here and there, it will
add up.
It adds up, and it works to do it in small bursts. So that's such a good idea, because we all have 5 or 10 minutes, or 15. We may not have 30 or 60, but we all somewhere in our day have 10. If they don't, they need to get their life in order.
Right.
You were giving us a tidbit before the show about grandkids. So tell us this is so natural for you, Miss, that's what your degree's in, all around food and people. What do you do with your grandkids?
Well, they love to eat. They are big on, my husband too will always say, what are you going to have for dessert? And they're big eaters. They eat well, but when they finish a meal, I say, you have to wait. Your tummy needs to tell your brain that you just ate a big meal. And let's wait a little bit before we have a dessert. And almost every time, they never even think about it again.
Wow.
And that's not to say I don't let them have desserts. But I always keep the same thing. They're great eaters. They're the ones that started the cottage cheese. They love it because their mother loved it. But I always feel like they've got protein if they won't eat anything else.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feed them the same way. Lots of fruit. Whole foods, they love meats and cottage cheese, but protein, but I always try to have the same things that I'm eating.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, to close it out, question I like to ask a lot of people is, you definitely have your act together. You're a very grounded person. And you've definitely figured your life out as far as around your weight, even though you battled that for a long time. But in general, what do you do to stay grounded? habit, daily routine?
Well, my faith is very important to me, and so I have a quiet time in the morning, and if I'm struggling with something, I found out that my weight, if I'm balanced, if I'm sticking with the principles of Naturally Slim, when I'm grounded, everything else tends to kind of go okay. I'm much more disciplined. If I'm disciplined in my eating, I'm much more disciplined in my Bible study, in my housekeeping, in my
Everything.
everything, really.
That's neat.
And I've taught myself, it's taken a while, but I've taught myself, when that's okay, everything else seems to fall into place.
Yeah.
One of your things about Naturally Slim was always, it's not what you eat, but when and how you eat it. And so I keep that written because I keep it written down to remind myself that it's not just what you eat, but it's how and when. And that principle goes with, you can have what you want for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Neat. Well, I really do appreciate you coming and visiting with me today. I know you gave lots of pearls of wisdom that everybody
I hope so.
can definitely
It's really,
enjoy.
I'm no scholar, or you taught me the principles, but it's just basic understanding. And it's really, once you do it, it's really easy.
Yeah. Well, you're the one that's made the change in your life.
And you encourage me by saying, you can do this. I promise you're not going to gain it back. And I keep hearing that little voice in my head going, you understood it. And I was like, I am it. And if I get off track, I get my materials out and I read them again. And I was like,
you will never have a problem. I promise you.
But it's more of a feeling inside. Your body speaks to you once you.
Yes. It's so nice to listen to your body.
Yes.
Really.
And the older you get,
you hear your body a lot more as we get older.
You do. And things will happen that you didn't think were going to happen. But when you were young, we could eat odd things and then gain it and lose it, right? But you can't do that as you get older, right. And it becomes fuel and things you have to really consider about putting here. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all. You've woven us a pearl necklace full of good gems.
Marsha,
thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
For me.
And we appreciate all of you guys listening today. And we hope you'll join us next time for more Insights with Marsha.